Matthew Reilly's The Five Greatest Warriors. This is 564 pages and is a cross between Indiana Jones and Uncharted. This is the third book of the Jack West Jr. series. So he's part archaeologist, part military person, you know, just running around the world doing all these crazy things, uncovering ancient mysteries, trying to save the world. So, fiction, fantasy, choose your own adventure. It's a lot of fun. And this builds off of the seven deadly wonders, which was about the seven ancient wonders of the world. And then the six sacred stones was the introduction. And this is kind of the conclusion. It's almost like a mini trilogy. There's 7 books in the series, but there's kind of like the first 3, the fourth book, and then the final 3. So it's almost kind of like broken up that way. But this one is a lot of fun. It ended with a cliffhanger about the second pillar being placed. So there's these 6 pillars that are like probably about the size of the book here, and they're all diamond, and they need to be charged. So the end of the first book, they erected the capstone, put it atop the pyramid. There was a sunspot, so that the sun charged the capstone, and then they stick the pillars in the capstone, then it becomes charged. Then they can lay the pillars. There's these 6 underground pyramids, at these 6 vertices across the earth that help the earth. It's called the machine, and it resonates to repel this black hole type dark star that's coming. So that was a lot, but this adventure, he's got his co-conspirators, for lack of a better word. His team is kind of scattered all over, so he's kind of picking up the pieces after the last 2 pillars got laid. So the first 2 pillars have been laid, and then there's a break, and then the final 4 need to be laid together. So the beginning, they go and rescue Stretch from the Mossad. He's an Israeli Mossad agent, formerly Mossad agent, who chose to stick with Jack's team instead of siding with the Mossad. So he's in prison. They break him out, and then they go to Genghis Khan's lair. So Genghis Khan's armory is forgotten. Nobody knows where it is, so they end up finding it. And the Americans are already there. Jack's father's Wolf, they're already there. And so, chaos ensues. And so it's a tricky situation, but all is not lost. Jack finds a shield. So the egg was at the armory, and the egg is supposed to have all the locations. Well, it was also copied onto the shield. So the shield, they use Genghis Khan's shield to find out that the next location is off of the coast of Japan. So the country of Japan has the 3rd pillar and also the pyramid to place it. And unfortunately, this group, the Japanese group, is called the Japanese Brotherhood, is sponsored by the government itself, and they disagreed with the ending of World War II. They thought, we're humiliated, they just didn't want that to be an honorable ending to the war. And so in response, they're saying, we're going to let the world end, we're holding back this pillar and defending this vertex, so nobody can lay the pillar. I don't know. That seemed a little off to me, but it's fiction, so go with it. Sight is the reward for the 3rd pillar, and also the final vertexes are protected by the earth itself. So rising sea levels, tsunamis, all kinds of crazy stuff. There's a tsunami off the coast of Japan, and that's the intro to this pillar. So there's defenders inside the vertex, and they're trying to keep people out. So a force of 45 people enter, and maybe 5 exit. They lay the 3rd pillar, get sight as the reward, and then everybody exits. And in the Sea of Japan, or in the ocean or whatever, outside of the vertex, a Russian named Carnivore scoops everybody up, takes them to his palace, holds a bunch of people hostage, and says, hey, you guys are going to go lay the 4th and 5th pillars and find the 6th one for me. So, he kind of waited throughout this whole situation, didn't care about the earlier awards, but then kind of swoops in and says like, hey, get this done for me, or else, your hostages aren't going to make it. So he's also royalty. So that's another thing that kind of plays into this whole series, is at least the second half of the series, is that there's these royalty. Previously, there was like conspiracies, large groups of people, all that stuff. It kind of plays into the royalty later down the road. But anyways, so they got the hostages, and now the fourth and fifth pillars have to be placed simultaneously. So half of the team goes to Ireland, the other half goes to the Indian Ocean Diego Garcia base. So the Diego Garcia base, Jack rides a motorcycle around. That one was a lot of fun. And at Diego Garcia, it's a waterfall cascading thing. And the twins, one of them is in shape and one of them isn't. And, that kind of provides the conflict there. So that was really cool. I liked both of those vertexes. And then the finale is on Easter Island, and just a blast. All the groups are coming together. Everybody's raced to the end, save the world, get their award, all that good stuff. And of course, the 747 jumbo jet that the team has been using the entire series so far crash lands into Easter Island in order for them to get in there. So it was kind of like the end for that one. So that was a super bummer, but it was really cool. It added to the story, lots of fun, and things I really liked. I really liked the historical, this is historical, or it's fiction, but, there were historical places. The Poplar Spring was cool in Ireland. The Easter Island as a location, Hokkaido off the coast of Japan was a good location. Just really liked that it wasn't just, oh, hey, everything happens in America because, America is a superpower or whatever. It's globe trekking all over the world. Very cool. It wasn't just a Western only book, right? It was all over the world. So really liked that. The gentle introduction to royalty. I mean, it was kidnapping. That's not a gentle thing, but like easing into the royalty. It's not just boom, square one, royalty is the enemy. They kind of sneak in throughout the series. So, the next book, The Four Legendary Kingdoms, deals with that topic and is all about that. So we're going to see more of that. The rewards, I liked them. I liked the site. I actually did like the power. We didn't have a whole lot of time with it to see what the limits or, if there were any exceptions, but it was just complete, power to enact thoughts. Anything you thought happened, and we saw it just for the briefest few moments, and then it fell down the giant hole of the machine, never to be seen again. So I also liked that the pillars were hidden and also protected, right? It's this ancient mechanism, but also it's not just something you're going to stumble upon. You have to go out there, find it, get through the defenses, all that stuff. It was just really creative, really unique, lots of fun, historical wrapped with an astronomical conundrum, just all wrapped into one action-packed fun story. So things I didn't like, I didn't like that the Japanese Brotherhood wanted the end of the world. I feel like they should have framed it maybe a little bit more that it was, they didn't want the US to get these rewards. That would have made more sense to me politically, but I don't know. It's not a big deal. It's just something that I didn't like. I thought, to bring honor, why not save the world? Wouldn't that be a really honorable thing? But anyways, that's something I didn't like. The other one was the nuclear explosion. I get that they had to get away. I just feel like if Jack could have prevented a nuclear explosion, he would have and not done it. Like, I don't know, maybe like this is like hashtag Empire did nothing wrong, like hashtag Jack West Jr. is, the bad guy of the series. I don't know, but it just seems like he wouldn't want to detonate a nuclear weapon anywhere. So there was one quote in here that I really liked. There was all kinds of good stuff, but this quote really stood out to me. Great spirits have always encountered violent opposition from mediocre minds. Albie is Lily's best friend, and he is a nerdy kid who's deaf and, has a ton of obstacles, but is super smart and really creative. And it just was something that, really was cool. And I thought it was a good message. So this is book 3 in a 7-book series. It was recommended to me by a literal rocket scientist when I was a teenager. So if you like Tom Clancy, if you like Indiana Jones, if you like Uncharted, this is kind of a mix of all those. So I recommend it. It was a fun read, but start with the first one, 7 Deadly Wonders in the US and 7 Ancient Wonders. It's published under that title for the rest of the world. So give this a look. Jack West Jr. is a lot of fun. Good series. And remember to buy your books used or digital.